Stop number 4 on the Castrol GTX Cup Series brings us to Atlanta Motor Speedway in Atlanta, Georgia. The old Atlanta, that is, as we're here today for the running of the Motorcraft 500. We are set for 50 laps of action on this 1.522 mile, as I mentioned, the old version of Atlanta Motor Speedway. So here's the starting lineup for today's running event. On the pole in the Quaker State Buick car number 26 at 187 miles an hour, it is Quentin Moore. On the pole for this event here today, he'll be alongside Charles Sanford, the DuPont Chevrolet car number 24. Second row, we'll have the winner at Rockingham, Cole Deaver, the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet, and then beside him, Levi McIntyre, and the Tide Chevrolet car number 17. Third row has Zachary Fitzwater, 29, the Hardee's Oldsmobile, and so beside him will be Keith Batson, car 20 at Texaco Haviland Ford. Fourth row, we'll have one of our in-car cameras, Johnny Gardner, in the Mountain Dew Buick, car number 11. He'll be alongside number 12, his teammate Rob Evans in the Budweiser Chevrolet. Next row down has Zach Rogers in 33. He has our second in-car camera. And Kyle Matthews in the 42 Mellow Yellow Pontiac will start alongside. Both those drivers come off a top 500 at Richmond. Zach came off of a second place finish, almost won the event, as a matter of fact, at Richmond. Next row down has Kat Batson, 21, number 21, the Pure Later Ford. She'll be alongside car number 30, Jay Jefferson in the Country Time Pontiac. Next row down, Kev Sheeran, 71, the Buxell Oldsmobile, and he'll be alongside car number 43, Mike Becker, the King Richard Petty Goers, and it's a newer style Pontiac. It's a 1988 model Pontiac. He wanted the 90 model, but the 88 and the 90s are the same body styles, as a matter of fact. So anyway, next row down has car number 2, Dylan Young, in the J.D. Stacy Buick, and beside him another Dylan and another Buick, Dylan Poteet, the number 22 Miller American Buick. Next row down has our third in-car, our third in-car camera is actually behind him, but anyway, Joshua Osborne in the number 25 Folgers Copy Chevrolet. He'll be alongside number 90 Jesse Turner. Our third in-car camera, in fact, will lie inside the number 18 car. It's a car, Matt McIntyre, the Interstate Barrier Chevrolet. Beside him, Seth Cole, and the number 52 Eureka Vacuum Cleaners Pontiac. Next row down has car number 47 Nathan Hudson in the Race Seal Farms Buick. He'll be alongside car number 5. It is Phil Parker in the Levi Garrett Chevrolet. Next row down is Emmanuel Hartnett in car 83, the Wins Kmart Oldsmobile, and Jessica Shelton, who won at Richmond this season. She dominated that event. The Coors Melling Ford, car number 9 is on the outside. Next row down, Mitchell Collins in number 70, the Sons Medford Speed Pontiac. He'll be alongside number 88 Nathan Orman in the Gatorade Buick. Next row down has number 50, Jean Sanford. She's in a Pontiac. She'll be alongside car number 15, the Wrangler Jeans Ford of Jackson Haywood. Next row down has number 44, Ryan George in a J.D. Stacy Buick. He'll be alongside number 4, William Brock in the Kodak Film Oldsmobile. Next row down has a pair of Fords, Paul Minnick in number 6, Stroh Light Machine, and beside him number 7, it is Wes McCoy in the Xerox Antifreeze Ford. Next row down is number 75, Daniel Bouchard of Valvoline Chevrolet. He'll be alongside Valvoline Pontiac, excuse me. He'll be alongside number 8. It is Matt Haas in the Miller American Buick. Next row down, Kyle Langland in number 14, Copenhagen Oldsmobile, and number 51, Valvoline Oldsmobile of Alex Miller on the outside. Next row down has Henry Sanford in 55, the Copenhagen Chevrolet, and then beside him number 27, the Kodiak Pontiac of R.J. Bishop is on the outside. Next round, Austin Colonna does the Carolina Tool Ford, and number 13 will be alongside the winner, the Daytona 500 champion Zach Winkle, and the number 1 Uno Buick. And starting shotgun field will be Ryan Brommer, the Sunoco Ultra Oldsmobile, car number 94. So the field is lined up here of 41 cars. Here, let's get the command to fire the engines for this, the Motorcraft 500 at Atlanta.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Command given to fire the engines as we get set for racing here on this racetrack here. 50 laps of action here for the 4th race of the season. As we watch 41 cars come off the racetrack here at this race here at Atlanta. Again, our in-car cameras today will be carried by Matt McIntyre, Zach Rogers, and Johnny Gardner. All 3 of them green cars, as a matter of fact. one of the three of the four green cars, I should say, in the field here. The other green car, of course, sits on the pole. That is Quentin Moore in the Quaker State machine, qualifying at 187 miles an hour. Of course, Charles Hammer also qualified at over 187 in the DuPont Chevrolet. Field about to hit into turn number 3 here. Three races so far and 3 different winners. Can we go 4 for 4? Well, we'll find out in the 50 laps that will ensue here today. Here we had the number 1 car of Zach Winkle win the Daytona 500. Then we had Cole Deaver win at Rockingham, and then we had Jessica Shelton win at Richmond. We'll see if somebody else different can make it 4 for 4, or will one of those 3 pull it off here today? Green flag flies, and the Motorcraft 500 is underway here in Atlanta. And what a start Quentin Moore got as he got the push from Cole Deaver in the GM Goodrich Chevrolet as they go into turn number 1. Deaver looks low on the track as they'll make their way up through the gears here. They'll be running speeds of over 180 miles an hour for much of this race. This track also, as you'll see, in some ways from the in-car cameras there, it's almost like an engine builder's nightmare because they'll be turning some high RPMs all race long. Quentin Moore leads the first lap of this race here. The first lap totaled at 167 miles an hour. That will not be the pace you'll see here. Plus these cars will also run faster in the draft. As we have seen in practice, speeds of upwards of almost 190 miles per hour. As you see, Zachary Fitzwater look low on the track here. Fitzwater takes the lead now in the Hardee's Oldsmobile. Keith Batson looks low on the track. Whoa, that was close between those two. Who led that lap? It was Fitzwater by just a smidgen. That had to be inches at the start-finish line. So we may see all day long here in this race here at Atlanta. Here the racing here is absolutely incredible. As you ride on board with Johnny Gardner in car number 11. See the tach number in the center of your screen right there, about 8,500 going into turn number 1, and down to about maybe 8,100. I think it looks like going through off turn number 2. Fitzwater has the lead here as Gardner tries to go by the 28 car Keith Batson. Off turn number 4 he comes here. Gardner, 186 miles an hour, 187 miles an hour into turn number 1. And down about 178 in the middle of 1 and 2. So as he goes on the backstretch here, 186 miles an hour. And that's how fast they'll go into turn number 3. Batson trying to look low on the track here. Now he looks low on Zachary Fitzwater. He pushes Fitzwater up the track. And now it's Oldsmobile on the outside, Ford on the low side. Batson from the state of Maine, the defending series champion. He's won here in Atlanta before, but he won it with the number 88 Dale Jarrett car. It's the quality care car. Now it's the car, in fact, he drove last season to the championship. Still staying with the Yates Racing piece here. The Davey Allison car from 87. As he looks low on the track here. Here, Fitzwater had the lead the last time by. In his last lap of the line, 187.6 miles an hour. Batson at over 188 miles an hour. Gardner in the 11 car, he's running right there behind Batson. It's in Zach Rogers in 33. Keith's wife in car 21. She won one race ago. She picked up Pure Later as the sponsorship on her number 21 Woodburners Ford. That is an 81 Thunderbird she's driving here. Batson's car is an 87 Thunderbird. Boy, talk about a 185 mile an hour pace lap we're having here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Just some incredible racing here happening. There's Matt McIntyre in the 18 car. Matt has our 13 car camera there inside this machine, running right there behind Kyle Matthews and Joshua Osborne. And the 12 car Rob Evans as well. See how fast Big Mac goes. Let's see how fast Matt goes into turn number 1. 187 miles an hour, 188. So he also go into turn number 1, 188 miles an hour, down to 173 miles an hour. He had to back way off, and he came from having to turn the 25 car around. And Osborne pulling ahead just a little bit, 188 miles an hour, 189 into turn number 3, and down to about 175 in the middle of 3 and 4. He'll come off turn number 4 at 184 miles an hour, down across the start finish line, 188, 89, 190 miles an hour into turn number 1. So there you get a good there you get a good point of view of how fast they'll go into turn number 1 here. And 3 wide, Johnny Gardner for the lead here. 3 wide between he, Batson, and Fitzwater. Batson in a very vulnerable position here as he's in the middle of the racetrack here. He might get out of that jam. Nope, Fitzwater's going to keep him pinned in the middle. Whoa, this is pretty hairy stuff here at Atlanta. Gardner has the lead there. Batson led the last time by. They led the lap. Oh, this is not going to be pretty going into turn number 3. And somebody's off the pace. It's Ryan Brommer. He's way out of the draft. He's about to get lapped. Problem you have here in Atlanta, though, you don't know if you're 3 wide, you don't have much room for 4 wide, and they are going to come up on that lap car pretty quickly here. Zach Rogers now gets the second position, and now Rogers wants to lead. Pair of Buick side by side, pair of green and white cars, and now you got the Batsons, Keith and Kat side by side. Keith in the 28, Kat in 21 as they go to the low side of the track. Kat takes the position. She's going to try for second, may try for the lead. Possibly if she can go 3 wide. She's got the push from Cab Sheeran, number 71, or 3 wide, 2 rows deep. And they have caught Brommer's car now. Gardner to the high side of the track, and he's going to take the lead away. And so Johnny Gardner says, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya. And Fitzwater's going to say, I'm out of this jam too. And he goes to second position now. Rogers up the high side. He's going to take third. And finally, Kat Batson squeezes out of this. She goes to 4th position now. And Dylan Young make that Cab Shearer up to 5th position. Dylan Young right behind him in 6th. Osborne in 7th. And Matt McIntyre up to 8th position. Now here comes Fitzwater to the left side of Gardner for the lead now in 29. 2 Oldsmobiles, 2 Buicks, and a Ford in the top 5 spots. The leading Chevrolet is in 7th position again with Joshua Osborne in the 25 car. But now Seth Cole in the 52 car. Here he is in the 52 Eureka Vacuum Cleaners Pontiac. He and Matt McIntyre, if you recall, started middle to back of the pack here, and now they've worked their way up to the field nicely. Gene Sanford up there too, along with the 43 car of Mike Becker and Phil Parker in the 5. And now Seth is going to try to make a daring 3-wide move, punting in between in below 2 Chevrolets. Osborne has to back out of the throttle coming off turn number 2, and Joshua is going to go to the backward. Is going to go backwards now in that 25 car, and he's up on the high side there. So 17 laps in the books, and a fast-paced race so far here at Atlanta, as they are averaging so far over 186.5 miles an hour. Zach Rogers continues to lead the race here. By the way, here fast lap race so far is Phil Parker in the 5 car at 189.6 miles an hour. But Rogers got the momentum on the high side as he kept Zachary Fitzwater from leading that lap in the 29 car. But now Fitzwater Now looks slow on the track here, trying to go toe to toe with Rogers. Oldsmobile low side, Buick on the high side here. So they come into the low side. Back Buick's in the top 2 cars on the high side. And Rogers again with a push of Johnny Gardner takes the lead, and Rogers says, "I'm going to dip low," and he's going to block Fitzwater from even challenging him for the moment. But Zachary's not giving up in that 29 car. I thought Rogers was going to take the lead and just pull away a little bit, but Fitzy's right there now. Rogers to the high side. Rogers again robs Fitzwater of leading that lap. Boy, what great racing we're having here at Atlanta! And I thought I saw somebody on pit road. This was the pace car right there. Zach Winkle and 13 car of Austin Clown. There's Henry Sanford in 38th position. Ryan Brommer a lap down, and Quentin Moore, the pole sitter for the event, he is way back in 37th position in the Quaker State cars. Cole Deaver also in the back there. Keith Batson. Those drivers were up there early in the race, and now Keith, Cole, and several others are trying to fight and scratch and claw their way back up to the field. And some other big names back there: Kyle Matthews and Jessica Shelton way back in the back. Of course, you know about Shelton in Atlanta sometimes. She did get a win here by a couple seasons back in the Castrol GTX Cup Series in season 23, however, so she's crossed that off her bucket list. And she also won here in Kyle Matthews' Dr. Pepper Series as well, on this very same track as well. So you can't say Shelton's luck at Atlanta's all bad. You can't say that, actually. Hendrick cars right there together. The 17 of Levi McIntyre, the 5 of Phil Parker, and the 24 of Charles Sanford. Sanford, the outside pole sitter for this race. And now they're 3 wide in turn number 1 between Kev Shear, Dylan Young, and Cat Batson. And again, McIntyre, and again, Fitzwater and Rogers are side by side, and they go to the low side of the racetrack now. Fitzy trying to lead that lap here over Rogers. Is it going to turn number 4? Nope. Rogers again beats him to the line. So Zach Rogers is proving the outside lane is all the more the proverbial line to run on his track here. The outside lane has got, and the inside lane is for sure is definitely the shortest way around. However, the high side gives you more momentum. And now Fitzwater does lead the lap here, so, and they're 3 wide still, now 2 rows deep here. Dylan Young to the low side. He's got the push from his buddy Seth Cole in the 52 cars. They come off turn number 2. 25 in the books and 25 to go. This is going to be quite a tussle for the win here, as we're about to complete the 26th lap of this race here at Atlanta. And now Dylan Young, does he lead this lap over Fitzwater? Rogers to the high side. Rogers is going to lead that lap back. So, boy, imagine if we have a final lap duel like this, too. Dylan Young now backing off a little bit. Fitzwater takes the lead by about a half a car for the moment. And now, here they come down the backstretch into turn number 3. 3 wide still there between Seth Cole, Cat Batson, and Johnny Gardner. And now we're back to having about 185 mile an hour pace lap again. So, well, I tell you what, these cars just absolutely just fast racing and fast pace action here at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Motorcraft 500, and any of these cars can win this race. But it seems like it's a 2-car duel for the moment, with basically the battle of the drafts we're having here at Atlanta. In the third turn now, Fitzwater again tries the low side of the track. He's going to try to pull up alongside Rogers, but Rogers pulls ahead. He's got the help from Johnny Gardner. That's helping him a bunch. And not only does Fitzwater lose the lead, but loses second position now. Or no, he does not lose this. He does not lose second. 33 and 29 cars seem to be a bit even. And it looks like that as far as the setup is concerned of these machines. But that high line though is absolutely it's definitely the line to run. And now Rogers sticks that car to the bottom and blocks Fitzwater. Says how you like that now, sucker? And Fitzwater just responds back and says, "I'm coming for you again." So, boy, an epic battle between these two cars here. If it comes out, I may not be surprised if it comes down between those two for the win. For the way it's looking like it's going to come down between those two for the win, and may throw Gardner into this bunch too. Because he's pretty much trying to decide who wins this race, or if he's not going to, that is. If he's not going to, I say. But now Rogers pulls ahead just a little bit there by about a car length, but now Fitzwater, this is where he's been getting his good runs in that third and fourth turns here. He can get the runs off turn number 3 and 4 though, but Rogers can get him off the corner. Other cars in this bunch right there. Dylan Young in the 2, 21, Cat Batson, 52, Seth Cole, 71, Kev Shearer, 50 of Gene Sanford, 18 of Matt McIntyre, 17 of Levi McIntyre, no relation to Matt. Joshua Osborne in 25, Charles Sanford 24, Mike Becker 43, 90 car Jesse Turner, and the 5 car of Phil Parker, and the 70 of Mitchell Collins, all in this bunch too. And now another pack of cars has closed up right there. Matt Haas is in there. Nathan Ormond, Alex Miller is in there. Jessica Shelton, Daniel Bouchard is up there too. or 16 laps to go. Excuse me here. Fitzwater trying to go low again here. Dylan Young's going to try to give him a push. Ryan Brommer, and again, they're in the middle of 3 and 4. Fitzwater pulls ahead, but this is where Rogers been getting his run off turn number 4. He pulls up on Fitzwater. Fitzwater led that lap. Well, this is just exhausting to try to keep up here. I mean, this is an excellent battle we're having here. I mean, a row of how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A battle of about 8 rows of cars of 2. I mean, just incredible we're having here today at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and we are not done yet here. We're down now to 13 laps to go in the Motorcraft 500. Ryan Brommer's now coming off turn number 2 down the backstretch here, and now the field's now coming off turn number 2. I think they are going to catch him again, though. Looks like, and if they are, that's going to determine who wins this race and who doesn't. But it looks like right now, at the moment, it's going to be either Zach Rogers or Zachary Fitzwater. Wait, it's going to a battle of the Zacks here, I should say. Rogers at the high side. Fitzy led that lap, but now Dylan Young decides, heck with this, I'm going to go for it. And Dylan Young looks slow, 3 wide for the lead. Dylan Young pulls ahead for the moment, and as it comes on turn number 2, Seth Cole's going to push Dylan Young down the backstretch in the third turn. Fitzwater now in a vulnerable position of being stuck in the sucker hole in the middle. Rogers pulls ahead for the moment, and he'll lead that lap. And then just floors the throttle, goes right in front of Dylan Young, but Dylan says, "Hey Zach, I'm over here." So now Zach Rogers got a new opponent now with Dylan Young, but now there's a lap car up ahead with Ryan Brommer. Who's he gonna troll? Whether he's gonna rob Zach Rogers. He moves. The track blocks Rogers. That's gonna let Dylan Young take the lead. And here comes Seth Cole to the low side in the number 52 car. Jean Sanford's up there. Her brother Charles in the 24. Levi McIntyre sandwiched between those two in the 17 car. Now Jesse Turner's up there along with Mike Becker. And don't look now, but here comes that number 9, Jessica Shelton. So now Rogers and Fitzwater has now fell back, and now Seth Cole takes the lead. Here comes Jean Sanford in the 50. Her win was at Talladega back in season 22 in the Winston 500. That was her only win in the series. She's looking for number 2, and she's looking for her second win ever in the series. Seth Cole, Levi McIntyre, they've won a bunch of times. So has Charles Sanford and Dylan Young, and Mike Becker, and of course Shelton too. And I don't want to ask this about where did Rob Evans in the 12 come from? Evans up the 9th, maybe 8th position there as he goes into the low side of Jesse Turner. Shelton's up the 7th. 6th is now Becker. And here comes Levi McIntyre in 17 to the low side as he looks for the lead. McIntyre came oh so close to winning the Daytona 500 earlier this season. Seven laps to go. Looks like your winner's going to come out of this pack of cards here. Zach Rogers has now dropped to 11th, and Johnny Gardner's dropped to 12th. Kat Batson's dropped to 13th. Kev Shearer 14th. Matt McIntyre 15th. And Kyle Matthews 16th. Osborne's down to 17th. And up to 18th, as a matter of fact, is Quentin Moore. And they are trying to draft their way back up to the field there, but the problem is we'll check the interval right there. Problem is they're less than 3 seconds back of the 10th place car. Average speed has dropped to 185 miles an hour. By the way, after 44 laps, so working on the 45th lap. We'll be down to 5 laps remaining now. McIntyre to the left side of Jean Sanford. Charles Sanford's up there. Can we possibly have a battle between siblings for the win? Possibly? Well, we'll find out. That is if Charles can dip low on Levi McIntyre, and then maybe have him and Gene going for the win. Pontiac in first, Chevy second and third. Pontiac's in first, fourth, and fifth. Four to go. 3 to go when it comes to stripe. Levi McIntyre to the low side. Charles took a peek to the low side now in the 24 car. You got Pontiac's on the high side. Chevy's on the low side here as they come here. One a Monte Carlo and the other a Lumina. And Charles backed way off, and Seth Cole's going to take third position now. And he's hooked up with Levi McIntyre now. Gene Sanford may have nobody to draft with, but Seth now wants to go with Gene. Seth's just total confused on who he wants to go with here, but now Gene blocks Levi McIntyre's path. 2 laps to go. Can Gene Sanford hold off some of the best to win this race? Well, I'm about to find out. McIntyre's closing up again. That 17 car. Trying to make one final push. Lap traffic up ahead, but they will not be a factor for the moment. But nope, here comes Charles to the low side. It could be a Sanford 1-2 possibly. Nope. McIntyre spoils that from white flag waves. Levi to the low side of Sanford for the lead. This is the last lap of the race, folks. Can Levi McIntyre get the drive that he needs to get past Gene Sanford? They are side by side on turn number 2. Sanford to the high side, McIntyre to the low side. Through the third and fourth turns they come here. Sanford's got to lead by about 3/4 of a car. She's going to pull ahead of McIntyre off turn number 4. McIntyre tries to close. Not enough. Gene Sanford wins the Motorcraft 500 in Atlanta. The 4th winner in the first 4 forces of the season, Zach Winkle, Cole Deaver, Jessica Shelton, and now Gene Sanford. And that's 2 in a row for the ladies, by the way, too. Jean won at Talladega in season 22 in the Winston 500. Now she takes home Atlanta for her second victory in her career. Levi McIntyre, boy, don't say Levi McIntyre didn't try on that last lap of the race. So he had the low side of the track there. Sanford had the high side working to her advantage, and it all paid off in that number 50 team. The Cliff Stewart-owned machine of Gene Sanford wins here today. That's a 1982 Joe Milliken car she was driving, by the way, too. Average speed 185.275 miles an hour. Levi McIntyre comes home second. Third position will go to Seth Cole. Charles Sanford probably would have liked to have finished second behind his sister, or maybe even, or if not win the race. But Charles comes home with solid 4th. Dylan Young 5th. Mike Becker 6th. 7th will go to Jesse Turner. Jessica Shelton ends up finishing 8th. 9th will go to Rob Evans and Zachary Fitzwater. So close, but ends up finishing in 10th position. Zach Rogers, who had the dominant car, though, I mean, you got to feel for him, though, actually, too. Got screwed over by a lap car on the high side of the track here late in the going and drops to the 11th position. Johnny Gardner comes home 12th. Cat Batson 13th. Matt McIntyre 14th. Kev Shearer, Kyle Matthews, Joshua Osborne, Quentin Moore, Bill Parker, and Keith Batson, the top 20 in today's event. The rest of the field for you here. Jay Jeff. We're the finishers in today's event here. There's the rest of the order in case that thing didn't catch it for you. So I think my fraps did. I think not fraps, but I think my Bandicam actually made. In case my Bandicam missed that finish of the race, by the way, we're gonna take a look back at that finish for you here, in case that finish didn't happen. Here's the finish of that race for you again here, in case the Bandicam didn't catch it for you here. McIntyre went to the low side of the track here to try to get past Gene Sanford here, and I thought for a second he was going to go side by side with Gene going for the win here. But the 17 car went to the low side here. Almost went side by side, but the high side of Sanford's car worked in her favor. And then off the 4th turn she came and pulled ahead to take the win here. And by that much takes it by about a full car length over Levi McIntyre. That was the margin here today. So margin of victory ended up being 0.112 seconds here, and there's the rest of there's the finishing order for you here again. So there you go. So that will do it here at Atlanta Motor Speedway here in the Motorcraft 500. If you like what you see here, be sure to subscribe to the NNSCRA Sports and Gaming channel. We got everything on this channel. We got interesting gaming videos, whatever the president of the NNSCRA Seth Cole desires for his channel. And be sure to check out our other NNSCRA series, including the Duracell Cup Series, that's Seth Cole series here, which is in full swing. Be sure to check that series out. And I'm sure his series is a whole lot better than what I have to offer anyway. So that will do it. And also some in our online videos, and also some gaming videos again as well. So be sure to subscribe to the NNSCRA Sports and Gaming channel, and even like the page on Facebook as well. That will do it here today at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Congratulations again to Gene Sanford, the winner of the Motorcraft 500. 4 winners in the first 4 races. Can we make it 5 for 5 next race in the tour? And we'll find out. For now, this is James Carlson. This has been a production of the NNSCRA. Offline racing at its best. We will see you at Darlington.
Greg, did you have any ignition problems?